Wolf Gang, where you at, man?
All right, family. Wolfgang Amadeus in the building. This is Set in the West. You are rocking on the West. Set in the West. Please like, share, subscribe. And I got an interesting situation here where I just happened to hop onto YouTube and I saw a very interesting title from a very interesting looking man. Well, I'll call him a creep. He goes by the name Touré. Jaguar Wright likes to call him Tour-ass, and I think that's appropriate. And he had a video, and it said, "I know why Jaguar Wright be lying." And he didn't even spell lying correctly. So this guy does a video that says, Jaguar Wright went from neo-soul singer to internet villain. How did she sink to become a conspiracy theorist? Why do so many people still find her credible? And why is she constantly attacking black celebrities? We'll also look into the psychology of conspiracy theories, why people believe them, and how Jaguar tapped into the conspiracy theory industrial complex that we currently have. If you want to understand Jaguar Wright, watch this. Wait, now hold up. And I'm gonna tell y'all this. If you want to understand a band, and everybody knows what a band is, then watch this. Touré, number one, yeah, you are a band. You, Vladimir, because y'all are running the same. So you are a band. And number two, I'm going to strike your video. I'll let you live a little bit, but I'm going to strike your video because the content you use in your video belongs to me, number one. So we'll be chopping it up with you in a few. So let me go and just give you the breakdown of this video. First off, he went on a straight attack. He started off with different clips of content that I own and produce. And he had content from real life and other places or whatever. So I'm gonna double back on that in a second. But what he did was start off with those clips. Then he started talking about Jaguar, and he's a little jealous. I think that's really what it is, because he started to talk about 4 reasons why he think Jaguar is doing what she's doing. So first off, he went off and said, she's lying on black artists. So first off, Jaguar don't just talk about black artists. She talk about everybody. And then secondly, she's not lying on black artists. She's telling the truth. He talked about the black artists that are positive for the community. He mentioned Erykah Badu. That's funny. Really, Erykah Badu's positive for the community? Okay, all right. Jill Scott. Okay, I mean, I still like Jill Scott, but I ain't go front. Jack told me some stuff. I'm like, okay, I gotta look at her side eye. And then Common. He talked about Common, like she's been talking about these artists that are good for the black community. No. And then, he talked about the Roots as well. He's like, he's like, any positive black artist she's lying on. Well, you played clips of her saying certain things on the Blue Couch in certain areas in her own platform. Why haven't they come after her, or why they haven't come after those particular platforms since cease and desist? Yada yada yada. Why? Well, his whole theory is, if you give it attention, you put more light on the situation. So that's why a lot of these celebrities have been, they've been ignoring her. Stop, bro. They could have easily, your reputation is everything. They could have easily sent cease and desist to Real Life or wherever she's at, and say, hey, chill out. That ain't working. That ain't cool. And then he said, do white people know her? Well, personally, I'm very surprised of how many of our Caucasian brothers and sisters know of Jaguar when I'm in her presence and I'm doing stuff for her, and how many Caucasian people know her. I'm like, damn, that's crazy. But she's known by white people, trust me. But I'm going to get back to that, because I think he's tried to make he brought up something about America's future. He didn't say the organization. He called it a right-wing organization that embraced Jaguar Wright and gave her the Defender of Freedom Award. So I honestly think he's jealous. That's number one. I think he's jealous. And this second reason was jealousy. He said the other reason why Jaguar is saying what she's saying is because of jealousy. And by the way, he said he talked to many people that have known her. Okay, bro, who did you talk to, number one? You probably talked to Shelly, probably. That's probably the only person you talked to, her sister, who's jealous as well. He also said that Jaguar is seeking attention. He I don't know, seeking attention. I think it's more about bringing awareness. It's not attention seeking when you are speaking on topics that the industry are not really even, that's media. They're not even scratching the surface on. They kind of scratch the surface with the, people like R. Kelly, and I'm gonna get to that, because I can attach R. Kelly to Touré or Torres, and watch how I tie this in. And they kind of scratched the surface when they talked about Harvey Weinstein, but they never brought attention to real situations. Like Jaguar was on a panel for America's Future, and she was on there with a real victim. And watch how I tie this in. On the panel with a real victim who, her story is very intriguing. And it speaks to the fact of people in the industry in their silence. And, sometimes, family members kind of feed. People from the industry will bring in family members to feed the beast. Case in point. Let me bring this up. Touré, Complex Magazine, and this is out of Touré's mouth. Touré said that Diddy fired a family member, his nephew, from an internship after his internship refused to sleep with Diddy. Now this was last year. He dropped this or whatever. It says podcaster Touré said in a recent interview Diddy fired one of his male family members from an internship because they refused to sleep with the mogul. On Tuesday, Touré sat for an interview with Joy Reid on MSNBC show The Readout, where he offered his thoughts on the latest developments in the SA and traffic light king allegations against Diddy. At one point, Touré shared that though his relationship with Diddy, he secured an internship with his relative over 12 years ago for one of his relatives. But he said after just a few months, the internship was over, and Touré relative wouldn't explain why. So this is what Touré said. I spoke to my family like, what happened? And they wouldn't say. And I'm like, why did it end? And then they wouldn't say. And years later, it finally came out. And this male said that Puff had said, come home, stay the night with me, or the internship is over. Touré also continued, and he said, absolutely not. He said, absolutely not. The internship ended. But from there, I was like, oh, this is how it goes. Okay. So to hear things went further with potentially alleging many other people, we feel like we've seen this coming. Very interesting that Touré is kind of acting blind to the fact that this happens in the industry. I'm sure he knows, he just keeps his mouth shut. So if Jaguar comes out and talks to different victims of the industry and puts it out there like this is what happens, it's not seeking attention, it's bringing awareness, bro.
Ever been in the presence of evil? And I'm not just talking about a person making bad decisions. I'm talking about diabolical evil who threatens you and then becomes silenced in your presence. You are terrified. There's no way that you cannot believe that, because they will absolutely kill your family. So I kept quiet for the first 3 months, and then it happened again. And then it happened again. And then it happened again. And but lo and behold, here comes the record contract. Here comes the money. Here comes the first album. Here comes the touring. I was kept in that situation up until 17. Sold to multiple people. US buyers. Most of them were US buyers. From record companies here in the US. Because remember, the United States controls pretty much the entire global music industry. The same Sony that is Sony in the US is the same Sony that's in South Africa or in UK. Or the same Capitol Records, they're run by the same people. You just have what I like to call different regional managers who control and handle the artist. I was rescued out of that unintentionally by a police officer at age 70. My physical rescue happened when manager was attacking me and I was fighting. I was gonna die that day. I was just fighting. I did not want him to wreck me one more time. And by the way, this happens 10 minutes before you go out on stage.
That's the thing that I wanted to, if you don't mind me interjecting, that's what makes what's happening right here between us so insane, because you were the woman that it was happening to, and I was the woman that was being instructed to turn your head. That's what happens. This is what she was signed up for. Her family's okay with it. What are you gonna do? That's not your problem. This is how they do. They take some, and then they use us as the cover to be quiet, to
and
make sure. So if anyone asks, you're crazy if she outcries, because all of us are saying, oh no, that never happened. No, that never happened. And they don't do it in front of us, but they do it right around us.
So again, you out of pocket. And you out of pocket for hooking your nephew up with Diddy. You a weirdo. I wouldn't have my turtle next to Diddy, bro. I wouldn't be intern my one of my pets to be in a Diddy video, because I'd be scared it'll come back, glazed up with some, I don't know. But I see why you're on the attack too, because you have your own history of sexual harassment allegations. So in 2019, we had a makeup artist named Danny. She claimed to have received some DMs from you, some nasty DMs. In fact, I'm gonna show y'all the comment she made. So Danny was a makeup artist for Touré back in 2017. And this is what she told the media. Every Monday, I used to work with him on a show in 2017, and he couldn't stop asking me to do anal, how I look naked, if I had SE over the weekend, what it would look like to me, what his cum would look like on my face. But this is the weirdo type of stuff that we're dealing with this Touré, Tour-ass, as Jaguar Wright affectionately calls him. So, she went on and continued and said, I've had to ask the crew to stay in a room with me while I got him ready. And when I called HR, he got fired instantly. He wrote me in a huge apology for doing that in my DM. Still have it. He did a 2020 shoot in 2018. I was there. And he walked out. Told the producer that he was embarrassed because he was inappropriate with a staff member. He really needs to take a seat. I'm going to just end it right there. Tour-ass, aka Touré, you really need to take a seat. And that video, I'm sure it's going to come down because you're using my content. Are you going to pay me? Are you going to pay me? You Christopher Walken off of Back in the Future looking ass. Now, I'm starting to see the connections though. I'm going to land it right here. Huh? Oh, it is Christopher Lloyd. My bad. Well, he kind of looks like Christopher Walken a little bit too. But Christopher Lloyd, my bad. But I'm going to end it right here. His connection to Dream Hampton. Because he was in Surviving R. Kelly. Now, Dream Hampton was the producer of Surviving R. Kelly, correct? Surviving R. Kelly was produced by Dream Hampton. Dream Hampton has an attachment to Jay-Z. It's funny you have a Surviving R. Kelly. You have a creep who's a sexual harassment person who is in a documentary series about someone who's allegedly done something. I find it weird. I'm still looking at you funny because of your nephew. You're also connected to Dream Hampton, who's attached to Jay-Z. Just like some other people who are attached to Jay-Z that people are not really putting their finger on. And I'll just say it like this, because I think I'm the first one to really put it out there that Ariel Mitchell is attached to Jay-Z. And then Ariel Mitchell all of a sudden included Jaguar into a crazy lawsuit that we know she couldn't have been involved in. So you see all these attachments, all these people that are connected to Jay-Z that are all of a sudden coming out and attacking Jag. Very interesting. But Touré ass, sit your ass down, pay me, you punk motherfucker. This is Wolfgang Amadeus. I'm out.
Wolfgang, where you at, man?